From the director of 2011's The Muppets comes Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Now, whether or not you like this movie will depend on how familiar you are with the show, because I saw it with somebody who didn't really watch the show, and they didn't really get a lot of the jokes, because most of the jokes rely on sort of poking fun at the show. So this is really more for us who grew up watching the show and the parents who had to watch it with us and probably got really annoyed by it. And if you haven't seen it, it really doesn't matter what episode of the show you choose. They're literally all the same. They all have pretty much the same pattern. Just, watch one or two of them and then watch the movie and you'll probably appreciate it more. Ultimately, I did feel that the actress who played Dora, she was perfectly cast. She gave 110% to the role. She's like, all right, can you say fill in the blank? Can you say so-and-so in Spanish? That's right, very good. Like, she just was top-notch. She was amazing. I did think the plot was a little bit similar to Spy Kids to some degree because, Dora's parents are explorers. Then, they got captured. I guess we got to go fight. I guess the kid has to go save the parents. That is very similar to Spy Kids. It did remind me a lot of that. And it was like Spy Kids and all these, adventure movies like Indiana Jones and that kind of thing. A little bit of Spider-Man Homecoming in there too with the high school stuff, which does bring me to my next point. I'm very surprised this movie did not get a PG-13 with some of the jokes, because there's a lot of discussion about, mating, like animals mating and humans mating, and it's tame enough that it's not, super inappropriate, but I was like, it's a little hard for a PG. I think with that kind of aspect, it should have been a little bit, PG-13, which is fine, because, it's clearly made for the high school crowd. This isn't really a movie that's aimed at 7, 8, 9-year-olds. It's not really aimed for the audience that would watch Dora, and it is a little bit aimed more for the high school crowd, which is I'm surprised that they didn't slap a PG-13 on it just for that reason. My favorite part of the movie is probably the part where they're in the flower forest and they start hallucinating and everything becomes in the style of the cartoon. It's like, oh, hi Dora. Oh, hi, Mr. Rock. I don't know who you are. I just cracked up. That was my favorite part of the movie, honestly. Also, randomly just having Danny Trejo as Boots. That one, just that one random part. It's he just speaks randomly for a minute, and then it's never touched on again. It just shows up. It's a throwaway gag, but it's hilarious. I thought the plot was very good. I thought it was a very fun movie. I loved how, Dora, for us who grew up watching the show for Dora, it seems normal, but when you think about it, to everybody else, it wouldn't be normal to Dora. It's oh, hi, everybody. And everyone's who is she talking to? It's probably something she'll grow out of, but she doesn't, and so everybody thinks she's kind of weird, but, for us who grew up with the show, because we have context for it, it's perfectly normal, but it's kind of hilarious that if somebody really were to act like that in real life, we would think they were nuts. So that's so funny that they poked on that, which is poked fun at that. That's super funny. I really liked how at the end they did the "We Did It" song. That was just the perfect way to end the movie. It was the "We Did It" song. The villain was a little predictable. I did kind of suspect that he was the villain. But again, kids movie. Well, like I said, not really a kids movie. Late tweens, early teens movie. Not really a kids movie. It's the wrong term I just said, but. Yeah, I thought this movie was actually hilarious. It was a fun little adventure. I had a great time with it. It was absolutely hilarious. James Bowman did such a great job with this, and Muppets. So it's very much is the Muppet movie type humor where it's very self-aware. It's kind of pokes fun at itself, kind of brings new life into something that we loved when we were kids. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I would give this movie an A-, a 9 out of 10, and a 4 out of 5 stars.